When will you and I stop passing by? My name is George and I'm a minister. And trust me, I'm in an airport, we're going on a mission trip. I'm fully aware there's chaos all around, but I wanted to stop and make a point about ministering in the midst of busyness to those in need. Before I tell you about the most marginalized individuals in society, I want to talk a little bit about Jesus as we see him in the Gospel of Luke. With all the busyness and all the crowds, Jesus was never so busy that he couldn't take time to minister to whomever was in his path. He would have these divine appointments where he would reach people where they were. And he even tells a story. It's a great story. It's in Luke chapter 10, I'm pretty sure. And there's this man going from Jerusalem to Jericho. He's attacked by robbers. He's left for dead. A religious person, a Levite, is going to walk by on the other side of the street so he doesn't have to fool with this individual. Another priest is going to do the same thing, but finally a Samaritan. And by the way, to say a good Samaritan was shocking back in the day, because a Samaritan in that culture was seen as even worse than a dirty Gentile dog. And yet the good Samaritan was the one that didn't just pass right by, but stopped, healed up the man's wounds. He carried him to an inn, he paid for his stay, and he said, if there's any extra cost to the innkeeper, let me know when I come back and I'm going to pay for his needs. Jesus was saying that those are the type of individuals that inherit the kingdom of God, those who stop and minister and serve to those around us, instead of the religious that are doing everything outwardly, but they don't know Christ inwardly. The group I'm talking about that's marginalized is the elderly. We genuinely have pushed them to the fringes of society, and we drive by nursing homes, extended care facilities, convalescent homes all the time, maybe even with our parents, and we never stop to minister, just to hear from people, just to encourage. You know, Jesus said this in Luke 14:14. He said, you will be blessed. It's almost like a double blessing. You will be greatly blessed because they don't have means to repay you. In other words, if you minister to people who don't have means to repay you, it's like a double blessing. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to challenge you in the midst of the busyness, no matter where you are or what your destination is, that you would take time to stop. And here's a way to do that. Number one, pray to God and say, God, make me uncomfortable. Make me uncomfortable when I keep driving around and I don't take the time to minister to a person who's alone, somebody who doesn't even have somebody just to listen to them, to check on them, to hear from them, to touch them. Y'all, elderly people need touch. So I'm going to ask you, be uncomfortable. Pray to be uncomfortable until you stop and go and minister to somebody. Number two, take a risk. There's a story back in the 1400s about a donkey. He's got two bales of hay, equal size, equal distance apart. And he looks at one, then he looks at the other, and he never makes a move. Instead of taking a risk, he's got to go for one or the other. He ends up dying of starvation. I think we've got to take a risk. So here's what I'm going to ask you to do. Go by a nursing home, a convalescent care. Just ask somebody at the front desk, who's a person here that's unseen? It doesn't have somebody check on them, listen to them, hold their hand and just love them and just pray for them. Kiss them on the forehead. Just ask and they will tell you exactly who you need to see. My last piece of advice is to take one of your kids with you. If you have children, take one of your kids with you. It's not only a message to them, but trust me, it's a reminder that the tables one day are going to turn, and we're going to hope, and we're going to wish that people come and visit us. Jesus said, for those who have ears to hear, let them hear.